All right. Yeah, I'm no longer recording live because my brother's annoying and he's always around and he's loud. So here I am recording on my bed. Anyway, I am a loser. I am a failure. Today I'm going to talk about when that happened. All right. So I'm sick, by the way. I'm trying to daily upload, so let's go. I'm also in a certain forgor. So it started in this thing called NHD, which is National History Day. It's more like a national history event, though, because it lasts for a lot of the year where you do a project, you research it, and you make this massive product, documentary, exhibit, whatever, is to show your understanding of the topic and teach people something new. So that's what we did. You didn't have to do it as an optional project for social studies. You would do it instead of our current project. And even though it's probably going to be harder, I was like, whatever. So I teamed up with the 123, who is, you might know him, who makes a lot of Minecraft videos as well. Anyway, we both worked on a project about Hiroshima because we decided that was going to be the coolest thing because, we could talk about the bomb and we just didn't know much about it. So it would be like a cool new experience. So step one was to research. We had to find a bunch of primary and secondary sources. Primary sources are sources that came directly from what happened, and secondary sources are not. They made by historians and nerds and stuff. And then once we had all of that, we had to make sure we had a proper primary to secondary source ratio of it would be 2 primary sources for every 3 sources, and then 2 primary sources for every 1 secondary source, basically. And so we had this little trick up our sleeve where we'd simply take these primary source images and videos and then just use those in our documentary to get that 2-to-1 ratio. It all was swimming well. We even I banged out a script, and I was able to start getting recordings in because I was recording the intro and then the paragraphs and a conclusion to support my thesis about how it impacted war, which might sound nerdy, but I'll link in the description. You can watch the not that good video and hear my not that good audio recording, but at least it's better than the 123. Anyway, finally, we got the recordings finished and had to start on the editing process, where we'd basically take all of the images and videos we took, which took forever to find. We had over 100 images we had to put in and cite them all later, but that's for another time. And we had to make the images moving, we had to make the videos exciting, we had to blend them all together, which we didn't do a super good job of, but it was a decent job. Took all the images, added a couple of transitions, made the images moving, and just learned how to use DaVinci Resolve, which is a pro editing software that's also free, which I now currently use for my videos, just because it's really nice. Anyway, we finally did get it done, and now we had to go to the competitions. See, there was 4 competitions. So we had our school competition, regional competition, the state competition, and the national competition for the entirety of the United States of America. And so I had to get at least to the school competition to make it to all of the rest. So we realized that there was 7 groups, and only 5 groups could proceed to regionals, meaning 2 of us weren't gonna make it. Dun, pretend I added music or something. It's now the day of the judging, the day of the school competition, the day our hopes would either stay hopeful or shatter into a trillion pieces. So, by the way, the 123 being the best teammate he is, did not get all of the bibliography papers. The day before prior, I was spending 5 hours finishing the bibliography because I had over 100 sources and had to talk about why each source was good, and that was terrible. It was terrible. And the other 5 hours of that day, I was working on finishing the video and rewriting and re-recording because our history teacher gave us feedback that I wanted to incorporate. And the 123 forgot to bring the bibliography. No, he didn't. He forgot to print out the entire thing. So I had to go to the Curiosity Center, librarian. They call it a Curiosity Center. It's just a librarian. I had to get her to print it last second, like right before it started. Got it onto the table along with like a Chromebook showing her documentary. I went to ELA and I just had to wait. They were judging ours, and eventually we had to be brought in for like interviewing, and that was during when I had social studies, which is when we did this anyway, so it was fine. But the interview questions were a little, they're a little tricky. They're not like super important towards your like actual like chances of moving on. But there's questions like, how did you get this like idea? How did your thesis change or whatever? And so, it was okay. We answered okayly. And they were impressed. They gave us some, maybe add video transitions, which I actually hadn't added yet, that I then did later. And it was just a pretty helpful experience, although it was a little bit scary. I say a little bit, I mean a lot. Because, I really wanted to at least get to regionals. If I don't get to regionals, that would just, it'd be sad. It'd be really sad. And so the day finally came to a close. And they were going to announce who was coming and who wasn't. First, they read out the top 3 individuals. The top 5 go. They didn't want to single out the people who didn't go. Top 3 individuals for the individual projects. 3rd place, blah, blah, blah. 2nd place, blah, blah, blah. 1st place, blah, blah, blah. And then it was time for the group documentaries. 3rd place, blah, blah, blah. 2nd place, blah, blah, blah. Was I going to even make it on the podium for the school competition? Yeah, I got first. Me and the 1, 2, 3 got first place. I don't know how, but that was cool and exciting. But this video is called Failure, so foreshadowing. Anyway, we now go to regionals, and it was hosted in our state college, which is cool. It's a cool place. And so we went to this one room. There's like one hallway where all the people were like dressed up in suits. Not everyone, some of them, and they were like whole PowerPoint presentations or something. And here, me and the 1, 2, 3 were in regular clothes, who didn't know what was happening. So it was, completely fair. Anyway, they brought us in. We played our documentary because I had a YouTube link. Again, I'll link that in the description. They watched it, and we gave interview questions. And also, randomly, there was these kids who just decided they wanted to watch everyone's documentary and just nobody cared. They were like, can we come in? And they were like, oh, sure, you can watch this random kids documentary. Who, by the way, I didn't want them to because it's bad, but whatever. Anyway, then we get out of there, and at 12 o'clock, we realized we're going to the finals. The finals of the regionals, which was good. That was cool. This is another success. We're on a success high ride tsunami of success. But it was about to come crashing down on us because the day of reckoning had come. First, they made only what they called documentarians, weird name, to come back, and everyone else didn't have to, but we did. We had to replay it, redo interview questions, and it was the same. It wasn't better or worse. It was monotonous. It was tiring. I've been here all day. And so we leave again, go back to our house. We had a couple hours. Then we go back at 4 o'clock because that's the awards ceremony. First, they do this random category with, like, papers or skits or something, and then they get to documentaries. So the individual documentaries, 3rd place, blah, 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 2nd place, blah, 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 1st place, just random kid. However, then we get to the group projects. 3rd place, blah, 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 2nd place, blah, 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 and 1st place. The winner, the group documentaries, and the only spot left to go to the finals, not finals, but states, was a random kid. Yeah, so we did not go. We did not get to the next round, which was a little sad. That's how I failed. But I'm already going to try next year. I'm already getting ideas for next year. I'm going to make it way more highly edited. To also spend more time on my thesis. So subscribe.